just before I went to prison, I was sectioned for my mental health. I think it was the snowballs, if I'm honest. It's crack and heroin together. Right. I didn't sleep. I was up days and days and days. I'd wake up on a pavement somewhere. I'd be ill. And I'd think, right, I've got to go and earn some money somehow. I was known to all the shops by this point. So I couldn't really go out shoplifting because I'd get nicked and I wouldn't get my drugs. So selling myself would normally come to mind. I'd have to go and do that, which was horrific. All my kids were born addicts. I've got 77 convictions all in all. The first one was in 2002 when I was 12. I tried to take my own life. I was nominated by probation for a High Sheriff Award. Said, you've turned your life around. You're an inspiration. And they nominated me for it and I won. Just don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
Because there is a beautiful life out there.
Welcome to School of Rock Bottom with Oliver Mason. I'm an actor, a voiceover artist and a recovery coach who's been sober 10 years. And I know firsthand that my own rock bottom moments can be the greatest teacher and the springboard for a beautiful life. Remember, you don't have to lose everything or have a stereotypical rock bottom to recover. It's simply the moment when you can't ignore the pain anymore. And as you know, I interview fellow creatives and all inspiring people that have hit their own rock bottom, survived and thrived. This is a podcast of hope and how to get out of the darkness into the light. And that's why I'm really excited today because I have got the charming Charlotte Seaman in the studio. How are you, Charlotte?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very well. I just want to say a huge thanks for coming all the way seeing me today because I know it was a little trek for you.
Yes, no worries. That's fine. Happy to be here.
Really, really appreciate that. Before we dive in, just a quick shout out to the sponsors of today's episode, the wonderful Gavin sisters. Head to the show notes now for 10% off their funky coffee and wellness retreats. Right. If you don't know who Charlotte is, shame on you. You will do now. So a quick bio and then we're going to dive straight in. So my guest today is Charlotte Seaman, who was born into a loving home, but by the age of 11, she was smoking weed and being arrested for the first time. By 13, she had been sexually assaulted, was smoking crack, and her anger had exploded into violence that led to 8 months in a children's prison for GBH. What followed was a long, chaotic descent of speed, pills, crack, heroin at 16, injecting and snowballing by 19, and a pattern of arrests for robbery, dangerous driving, and a level of unmanageability that spiraled far beyond her control. Heroin stole 18 years of her life. She had 3 children during active addiction. She spent time in prison smoking spice, and in 2018, she experienced a full psychotic breakdown, the kind of collapse that many never return from, and yet she did. Charlotte is 1 year clean and sober. She's a recovery advocate with a following of more than 100,000 people across all platforms. And she recently won a High Sheriff Award for turning her life around. I'll be asking her more about that later on. Her honesty gives people who feel hopeless a reason to believe there is a way back. And today, we're not only looking at the destruction and consequences, we're looking at how she finally got clean and what life looks like when you step out of 18 years of addiction and start again. Wow, what an intro that is.
I know. When people say it back, sometimes I'm like, is that actually my life? And
yeah,
it was.
I think addiction kind of meeting you today just breaks all stereotypes about what addiction is. I mean, I know because I'm in recovery too, but there's no way anyone meeting you today would ever guess that was your life.
No.
I don't think.
No.
That's not the first impression I got at all meeting you today.
No. A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah. I think even just prisons, like people are like, oh my God, you've been to prison.
Yeah.
What, you was a crack heroin addict? Yeah, I was.
I think we're going to break a lot of stereotypes today in the next hour. I've warned you how I always start the podcast with you choosing a rock bottom moment of your own choosing. Mm-hmm. I know you've got a lot to choose from, but just pick one for now. But from there, we'll get into the hope, the light, the joy, and the recovery.
Yeah, it would definitely be when I tried to kill myself. Horrific psychosis, lost everything and everyone. And I tried to take my own life. It was actually 2 millimeters away from my main artery and cut my arm. And all I thought about was my kids. I mean, I couldn't get clean and sober for my kids, but my kids are definitely the reason I'm still alive. Because I think I'd have ended it a long time ago if I didn't have kids. Right. But, you know, now I can't believe how my life has turned around from that moment, really.
And also it just goes to show how progressive addiction is, because that moment is 2018, but actually your story starts in terms of drugs and alcohol at 11. So take us back to 11 then. I mean, like you say, loving home. Starts off with alcohol and weed, which it does for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Was it sort of regular at 11 or just dabbling at 11?
No, I seem to just go full in. I started drinking, going out. So I would go out all the time as a kid. I would ignore my parents. But yeah, pretty much when I started it, I just went full at it with most things, really.
So once you changed the way you felt once, you were like, give me more of that.
Yeah.
It's interesting over a coffee, because we were talking about, you were like, oh yeah, I suppose I was drinking as well. I think for you, drugs, I mean, we know alcohol's a drug, but sort of non-alcohol drugs seem to hit the spot with you a little bit more. It was interesting over a coffee, you thought, oh yeah, well, there was some alcohol involved.
Yeah.
But it's weed that you remember first, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, there was alcohol involved, but yeah, I always remember the drug side of it, I think, because, well, they were the ones that took all those years of my life. Yeah. So yeah, drugs stand out for me, even though alcohol has been an issue most of the time as well.
Right.
But yeah, they seem to stand out for me, drugs.
And were you sort of self-medicating with weed at 11, or was it just about having fun and fitting in?
No, I think it was self-medicating. A bit of everything, I think, maybe. Fitting in. Because I come from a loving family, but I just never felt right as a child. Right. I could never put my finger on it.
There was some trauma in your family, I think, wasn't there, when you were 4?
Yes.
Was it your grandfather?
Yeah, my granddad hung himself when I was 4.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't know that at the time. But years later, I think it was when I was in kids' prison, actually. I was in therapy, and they said that that's probably had something to do with it, because it was a day before my 4th birthday that he done it. So it's meant to be like a happy time. But obviously my dad's killed himself, my granddad.
Yeah.
Perhaps I felt something, that something wasn't right. I don't know. But yeah, all I know is I never felt right. So it was fitting in, feeling a part of, I suppose, and escaping my own self.
Where did that belief come from that you weren't quite good enough at that age? Was it stuff at school that was going on? Like, great. I mean, I'm just completely guessing. Were grades not what you were expecting, or was there no evidence at all?
A clever kid.
Yeah.
And I was quite good in primary school. I just seemed to get to secondary school and it all just went wrong. Right. I think, maybe I craved a little bit of attention, maybe. So, I'm acting out, I'm taking drugs, and I'm realising that I'm an addict. Yeah. And then it's took over with everything.
I guess in a way it's quite difficult, because if there's a parent listening to this and they're worried about their child maybe going off the rails or whatever you want to call it, sounds like there wasn't a huge amount that was obvious maybe to your parents at the time. You sort of go into this, you're going to school, you're doing all right, and then bang.
Bang. Yeah.
What was the bang? I mean, was it the people you're hanging out with, or do you think it was something deep inside you that couldn't have been stopped?
Yeah, I think it was something deep inside. Yeah, I do. Yeah. It was definitely the people that I was hanging about with as well, because I always hung about with older people. I always have done. And then obviously once I've been kicked out of school, it was definitely older people, and obviously people that weren't at school as well. But it was definitely something deep rooted in me.
Was it sort of like a way of just having the most mad experience that you could muster, or was it about escape and just going as high as you could, do you think? Or was it more kind of rebellious and angry, or?
I don't even know. I don't know why I did it, but I just knew once I done it, I liked the effect. I liked going out and fucking about, nicking cars or whatever I was doing. Just changed the way that I felt, and it was exciting. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was fun back then. just, you know, around them sort of ages, going out, well, let's hang about with a group of lads. Like fun, going out nicking cars. But we had a laugh. There was consequences, obviously, but they wasn't too bad at the time.
Yeah. And it's interesting the way that you sort of remember the situation with your granddad as well, because even though it sounds like you weren't hugely aware, and even if you were being shielded in the family unit, you know, obviously I can't speak on behalf of your family members, but you would have felt it, you know, no matter how much they would have tried to have hidden it, it would have affected the day-to-day atmosphere of you growing up, for sure.
Yeah.
Then obviously, like you say, not many consequences, but then at 13, sort of tragedy strikes for you personally with an assault. Just wondered if you could, you know, sort of talk us through that, how that came about.
Yeah.
Obviously, only go into details you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, so I was sexually assaulted when I was 13. I was on a night out. I pissed off with a mate, basically. I wasn't listening to my mum and dad. Wanted someone to buy us alcohol. Ended up going back to a hotel room, and it just all went wrong, basically. Which was a massive moment for me. Yeah, it was that added fuel to the fire, 100%. It changed me.
Yeah. Consequence of that being you assaulting someone later that year, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or around that time.
Yeah, that happened in September, and by the January I was in prison.
Right.
I stabbed someone in the head 4 times.
Right.
Yeah, then I got sent to Medway Secure Training Centre.
Right.
I got 8 months. I was a kid at Chelmsford Crown Court.
Yeah.
They even let my parents come down to the court cells, which they never do.
Yeah.
But because I was so young, I'd never been to prison before. Obviously, I'd been arrested. I had been arrested before. I wasn't like not known to the police. I was known. But to be sent away to prison at 13 years old is quite extreme, and especially for a girl, I think, as well.
Definitely. I think on paper, someone could look at that assault. I mean, you just described it quite graphically. And I don't think anyone would sort of turn around and go, yeah, okay, that's all right. But when you put it in the context of why you did it, I have a huge amount of empathy for that. Because obviously you were still incredibly, probably still are, upset and angry about what happened to you at 13. I think you'd heard that this individual potentially was not a good person.
Yeah.
What was your logic behind that attack, do you think, at the time? Because you don't strike me as someone that would just randomly hurt somebody for no reason.
No, I have been quite aggressive over the years. I'm not going to sit here and lie my gut. I was a saint, because I wasn't. But I would never do something just because, you know, I felt like it. He was a wrong un, this bloke. I was out with a group of people, and I was angry, hurt. I justified it because he was meant to be a wrong un.
Right.
So I justified that. And he was sort of getting a bit of a hiding, and I stabbed him in the head 4 times.
Right. Wow. When you look back on that incident now, sort of through the lens of recovery and being clean and sober a year, how do you sort of view that incident now with a bit of time under your belt?
I just think I was a lost, scared, angry little girl that didn't really know what the fuck she was doing.
Yeah.
But all I knew was I was angry.
Yeah.
And I just acted out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I hope that you've got to a place where you've forgiven yourself for that.
Yeah.
In your recovery. I think you deserve that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've forgiven myself for a lot of things, because, you know, yes, I did that, and you know, I do take responsibility for my actions, but there was other things going on in my life that wasn't fair. Do you know what I mean?
And were you under the influence at the time of something?
Yes. Everything that I've done, I've been under the influence.
Sure. You know, I often say this to people, regardless of what their consequences are, because you were You were addicted then. You were under the influence then. You were powerless then.
Yeah.
You know, what happens when I pick up a drink is that not only do I become powerless over the amount I'm going to drink, but I become powerless over my behaviour as well. Now, that doesn't mean I can kill someone and stand up in court and say, Your Honour, I'm powerless, let me off. I've still got to do my time. But you've done your time. Like, not only have you done your time in a physical sense inside a prison, but you've done your time up here.
Yeah.
Wow. Without that incident, maybe things wouldn't have unfolded quite the way that they did, because you then went on a bit of a rampage, of lots of arrests.
Yes.
I'm kind of laughing because that's not who I see in front of me today.
I know. I don't know why I laugh at it, but I mean, it's not funny because it got really dark. It was very dark. But yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was like a rampage. Yeah, that's what it does though to us. It makes us someone that we're not. I believe now I'm the person I was always meant to be.
Absolutely.
I still haven't lost that, like, you know, I can laugh at stuff that's gone on in the past, all the crazy sort of stuff. There's some things obviously that is not funny, but I still haven't. I found myself.
Yeah.
Not lost it. I've found who I was always meant to be.
Oh, I completely agree. I sort of found recovery rather than changing. It was about sort of letting go of loads of crap. Like it was like this big ball of shit. I'm letting go of all this stuff, and then right in the middle there's a diamond there, and that was who I was all along. That's sort of how I visualize it.
Yeah,
which sounds like
that's
where
cool,
you've got
actually,
to.
Yeah,
like you say, in and out of prison. I think, you know, even using spice in prison. Yeah. Do you think spice was one of the reasons why the psychotic breakdown potentially happened later?
I think it all had something to do with it, but you know, spice was towards the end. That was around 2018 time when I was smoking spice.
Right.
Yeah, that wasn't the earlier years in prison. That was the later years in prison. I actually got 6 years down to 4 of an early guilty plea that time. It's the biggest sentence I ever got, and that was in 2018.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you. I guess that's why I correlated spice to the psychotic breakdown, because I thought, forget me if my timeline's right, but the psychotic breakdown and you using spice seemed to come in the same period of time. Yeah,
I think it didn't help, but just before I went to prison, I was sectioned for my mental health. Right. I got sectioned. I think it was the snowballs, if I'm honest.
Right.
The crack and the smack that done it in the snowballs, because I didn't sleep. I was up days and days and days. And then I've gone to prison. I'm taking spice in there. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't as bad as what I was out here, but everything, it just, you know, it got worse after that as well. When I come out, it just got worse because I carried on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just all had an impact on my mental health.
Like you say, you know, after that incident in 13, all the way up to 2013, you know, the carnage just kept ramping up. You know, it was speed, it was pills, but then crack. And then I think heroin comes in at 16, but you're injecting by 19 and doing snowballs. Just for anybody out there that's sort of lived a very sheltered life and think that a snowball is a dessert that you can get in South Africa, which is one of my favourite desserts.
Right, yeah, a snowball
What's a snowball?
It's crack and heroin together.
Right. Got you.
In a needle, or cocaine and heroin together in a needle, and you just bang it up.
Some people will be confused because they'll be like, well, why are you taking two things together? You know, heroin being a relaxant, being a, you know, a sedative, I guess you could say, and then crack being a stimulant. Why would you take the two together?
Because I liked the effect, the sort of the calmness, but also I'm up there. Yeah. And obviously the fact that, you know, I'd have to have heroin as well because otherwise I'd be sick. But them two together, I would try and avoid taking heroin on its own. I would always want the crack with it. It was definitely them two together that done something to me that nothing else did. Absolutely. It's really interesting with all this stuff because you get all these stereotypes. You know, some people are like, well, you know, you're not a true addict unless you've tried heroin and crack, or you know, some people who are drink only can sort of judge people that take drugs. It's all the same stuff. Yeah.
Like actually doing a snowball is the same as someone having a drink and a line, or even having a drink and a cigarette.
Yeah.
On some level, because you're mixing the two.
Yeah.
And how many people like sweet and sour chicken? You know,
Yeah.
mixing the two together.
Yeah.
On the way to the podcast studio, you were telling me about, you know, being in an alleyway with a needle hanging out of your groin, and I mean, what did one of the days in the madness? Talk us through that. You get up. What's going on? Because you even ended up on the streets, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
talk us through one of your worst type days.
My worst days. So I'd wake up on a pavement somewhere behind Argos, actually, where I'm from, and I'd be ill. So then I'd think, right, I've got to go and earn some money somehow. So I was known to all the shops by this point. So I couldn't really go out shoplifting because I'd get nicked and I wouldn't get my drugs. So selling myself would normally come to mind. I'd have to go and do that, which was horrific, obviously. Go and score my drugs, get on it, and then get on it all day. And then from then on, I'd stay up for days on end and then crash again. Days on end, crash again. But it would just be using constantly. You know, I would have that one and then literally not even 5 minutes, I'm planning how to earn money and get another one. But once I'd put that one in me, I was off and running then, doing whatever I could. But at that point, in the end, I was alone as well, like a lone user.
Yeah.
Because I had such a bad psychosis as well. I was frightened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a horrible place to be.
And what would you have to do to kind of get the money to pay for the drugs sometimes? Would you have to steal, for example? Or?
Steal, prostitution.
Right.
Everything. Anything
Yeah.
and everything you can think of, I have done.
It sounds so incredibly chaotic. Even with my background, that sounds chaotic to me. You then throw in 3 children in the mix on top of all of this going on. I think one of the hardest bits of your story for me personally was the fact that you were still addicted during your pregnancy. And I think you got some medical advice that if you were just to come off heroin sort of cold turkey, it could result in damaging your baby or miscarrying.
Yes.
Am I right in thinking that you had to switch to methadone or Subutex or something during your pregnancy?
Okay. Yeah, methadone. And all my kids were born addicts, all of them.
Right.
Which obviously filled me with a lot of guilt and shame. Of course it did. Yeah. But I just couldn't stop.
Yeah, of course.
I was powerless. And I didn't understand that at the time either. I couldn't understand why I was doing the things I was doing. But obviously at the same time, no, you can't just stop heroin when you're pregnant because it can cause miscarriage because your baby will be withdrawing. So they tell you not to do that. So, you know, I didn't really have much of a choice with that. But I'm not going to lie, I did use in my pregnancies.
Sure.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'd have them. And I just, that guilt from that, it was a lot, I think. Like, do you know what I mean? I couldn't, like, why?
Yeah.
How have you just gone and done that? Yeah. And then because I couldn't cope with the pain, use, that's the answer. Just use, do you know what I mean? Use. I was in my kids' life, though, for the first 2 years of their life, I did all the night feeds, the bottle feeds. I mean, I didn't just have them and go.
Yeah.
We went to my mum and dad's, all of us together, all of my children. If I didn't have my mum and dad, I don't know where I would be today.
Yeah.
I don't know where my kids would be today. So I'm very grateful for my mum and dad, my whole family. They've all been really supportive, all of them.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, I was very involved in the first 2 years. Like I did all the night feeds, everything with them. So I have got a bond with my kids because I didn't just have them and go. And I, you know, and then first, like, few months especially are critical for that mother and child bond, I think. So I'm very lucky that I had my parents to go to get that.
Yeah.
So otherwise our relationships might be completely different today. I might not have them today.
Yeah.
But obviously that's all ifs and buts and whatever. It didn't happen like that. It happened how it happened.
Yeah.
Because of my family, and I'm very grateful for that.
Sure. Wow. Thank you for sharing all of that. I mean, I've got huge amounts of compassion for that situation and empathy for that situation. The pain that you must have gone through drinking every sip of that methadone, knowing you were pregnant, must have been incredibly, incredibly painful for you.
Mm.
One of the most evil drugs is heroin and alcohol, I would say, because of the physical addiction. I call it kind of addiction checkmate. You go into such horrible physical withdrawals. I mean, I was seeing ants on my skin and I was hallucinating. I was right at the very severe end of alcohol addiction. I've got no experience with heroin addiction, but the way you describe it, when I've researched you, is it's on you straight away in the morning, isn't it? Because you're immediately in withdrawal.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
With methadone, that's a little bit longer, but heroin doesn't have a long lifespan. So you'll use 12 hours later, you're needing it again. So I remember this was sort of early on when I was using, but I remember thinking, fucking hell, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to wake up ill. It's all right, but I'll sort it out in the morning. Obviously wake up ill. But as the years went on, I always used to try and save a little bit if I could, just a tiny bit in the morning. And a lot of the times as well, I was taking methadone.
Right.
But it's horrific. It's 12 hours, you need it again. It's just never ending.
Yeah, sounds a lot. I mean, I know what I went through with alcohol addiction and the withdrawals I went through and all of that. So I can only imagine, what that must be like. It's interesting, though, because I want to ask you this. We're often taught that the only two drugs that will kill you in withdrawal is alcohol and benzos. Is that true in your experience? Do you know anyone that has died in withdrawal from taking heroin?
No, I don't.
Right.
No, I do think that's true. Okay. You might feel like you're going to die with heroin withdrawal, but I don't think that you can.
Yeah.
I think it is just alcohol
and benzos.
And benzos, yeah.
I've heard it's more of a secondary thing that might kill you, like sort of vomiting and diarrhea or something like that.
Yeah, or like if you're, vomiting and you choke on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think, not that I know of anyway, I've always been told you can't die from it. I could be wrong, but you definitely feel like you're going to.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Yeah.
Methadone's even worse to come off as well.
Wow, is it really?
Yeah.
Right, God.
Heroin's like 5 to 7 days and you get through the worst of it, you're feeling better. Methadone's about 6 weeks.
Right, okay. God.
It's horrific to come off.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst things I've ever had to come off is methadone.
Am I right in thinking subtext is more about a kind of opioid blocker? Is that right? So
yes.
Sort of stops you getting high?
Yeah, it's a blocker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So a
bit like naltrexone with booze and
just
maybe even Ozempic with food and that kind of thing.
Mm.
That's really, really interesting. Now, working in a rehab like I have done for quite a long time, I'm doing a lot of work with people kind of looking at unmanageability and powerlessness and consequences. And actually sometimes working with a client who's a bit more, they're kind of a bit rare, but you get the odd kind of like, say, grey area drinker or someone that sort of occasionally binges too much on cocaine and things like that. Sometimes it's harder for them to kind of get to a place where they go, yeah, it's addiction. Yes, I'm powerless. Yes, my life is unmanageable. I guess the one saving grace really with your story is, boy, have you got some evidence that you're powerless and your life is unmanageable.
Yeah.
What does when you look at your kind of step one list, I guess, unmanageability and powerlessness, like, just give us a bit of an insight. What were your consequences and unmanageability like, looking back now?
Well, I mean, it's there from the off, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything was chaos, carnage. Everything was unmanageable.
Yeah.
Absolutely every aspect of my life was unmanageable. I was powerless, and then I was powerless over my behaviours. I mean, I knew I was fucked a long time ago.
Yeah.
a long, long time ago. But I just didn't know how to stop.
Yeah.
But I don't think the pain was painful enough at the time. The good, from the buzz, the snowballs or whatever, was still that little bit better than the consequences at the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't until, you know, I'm hurting my kids. Like things are starting to just get a little bit, this is getting too much now. Psychosis is hitting, you know, I'm just losing myself more and more and everyone else around me. And I just couldn't carry on like it anymore. I just had like an internal snap. And I've had a lot of rock bottoms, a lot. But this one was like inside, like my spirit had just said, I just can't do this no more.
Got you. Do you remember where you were and what happened? Or was it more of a kind of a period of time?
These rock bottoms kept coming and coming and coming. Every time I thought, right, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. But there'd always be another one and another one. But this time, I not long before this tried to kill myself. So I reckon must have been within a 6-month period. So I tried to kill myself, and then 6 months on, maybe a year, roughly, that's when then I got clean. So it was just a build-up of things, and I was at my mum and dad's as well. My mum and dad let me back there because through the years there has been tough love. Obviously, there's been times when they can't have me there because it's too, it's just chaos.
Yeah.
But, you know, where I was so mentally unwell in the end, like really unwell, I think they was frightened of what was going to happen. So they put up with me there, sort of I would use upstairs in the bathroom. But it just was like, was using, but I was just in so much pain.
Yeah.
Like in real pain, sitting there, thinking everyone's watching me from my phone. So towards the end as well, I'd stopped the snowballs. I was just piping. Because I thought in prison, no, what's sending you insane is the snowballs. Stop that and you'll be fine. So I got out. Yeah, I know, delusional. So I got out and I was just smoking it. Which in actual fact, because I never had no low, it was just crack I was smoking. It just sent me even more around the bend.
Yeah.
And I had a flat as well when I come out of prison, which was some really dark, horrible things happened in that flat. I had men back there I didn't know. There was a lot of shit that happened there.
Sorry to interrupt you, because one of your TikToks that's gone really viral, isn't it? It's like in the millions and millions. Just talking about the vulnerability and things happening to you. I think is you kind of passed out, your head passes out on some food. So obviously that's one of the things with active addiction is you pass out. So obviously you had the sexual assault at 13, but it sounds like it continued because maybe of the vulnerable situations you were in because of your addiction.
Yes, it did, yeah. Yeah, I was vulnerable. So them videos of me online with my face in my food, literally gone.
Yeah.
But I was at my mum and dad's, so I'm safe there.
Sure.
But when you're outside doing that, you know, a lot of stuff goes on.
And of course, all of that compounds the guilt and shame and the chaos that you're trying to escape, you know, from with the drugs and the drink or whatever else. And then because of that, you're getting more consequences, more chaos, and more reasons to drink and drug. They say addiction is continued use despite negative consequences. I mean, I think me and you are poster people for that being true.
Yeah.
I get a little bit frustrated online sometimes with the recovery discussion because, you know, the sober curious movement and the grey area drinkers and all of that, a lot of it's plonked into the same space, which I've got no problem with. But I think, you know, this is really what addiction's about. You know, what you're talking about for me is this is addiction.
Yeah.
This is what it does. And I get annoyed because sometimes you get these sobriety coaches talking about, oh, you shouldn't be telling rock bottom stories because you're telling the sober curious people that have got to hit a rock bottom in order to change and all that. It's like, well, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I understand what you're saying, but for a lot of people with severe addiction, this is their reality. If we don't talk about what happened, how are we going to get rid of the stigma, move through the guilt and shame? Like, I so applaud you, Charlotte, for what you're doing. You've got no idea. I think you're a freaking hero, mate. I seriously do.
Oh, thank you.
I really, really do.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think it's important. It needs to be spoke about.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying as well. You know, sober curious, but that's fine. Do what you want to do, but I'm going to do what I want to do because I know it's important.
It is.
I know that I didn't have any hope left. I didn't see a way out. I just thought, and then I tried to kill myself.
That's right.
And a lot of people do that. They get to the point where they think, I can't get out of this, so they kill themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just hang on, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's why I think it's so important.
100%.
Because people are dying.
Absolutely. I think addiction killed 3 million people last year, you know, so 3 million deaths due to addiction.
Yeah.
So, all right. So thinking about recovery now and sort of, you know, you having a sort of an internal snap, a phrase that I use for myself as well.
Mm.
For a long time, I wanted to stop, but didn't want to stop. And then suddenly I just wanted to stop. I would imagine with your addictions, you would have had to have dealt with the physical side of stuff and the mental as well.
Yeah.
Did you then sort of go onto a program, like a script, or how did that look sort of from a physical point of view first?
So I was actually on methadone and me and my family went on holiday to Ireland.
Yeah.
I was meant to have picked up a script from the open road. I didn't make the appointment. But at the time, this wasn't long before I got clean. I was obviously running around doing whatever I was doing, absolutely nuts. So my family didn't want to leave my younger sister at home with the home just in case I turn up there and whatever. So they're like, right, she's got to come with us. Charlotte's got to come. But I didn't pick up my script. So we're running around the morning we meant to go to the airport. I'd been up for days as well, smoking crack. And we had to go to this place to get some methadone. And I took one of my old bottles that had my name on it anyway. So I managed to get some across to Ireland, but not enough. Nowhere near enough. So I was rattling over there.
Right.
I was rattling over in Ireland. It's really funny actually as well. My family went out one day and I fucked off outright to try and get something because I was feeling ill and I was like, oh, I need to go and see if I can get something. We're out in the middle of nowhere. I'd thumbed a lift. I ended up in Letterkenny somewhere with no money, no phone. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking I was going to do. But anyway, some man noticed me and he come over and he started to talk to me. And he was like, are you okay? And I was like, no. He explained my whole sort of life story. And he was like, well, we ended up talking. And he said, look, I can't leave you here. This is quite like a rough area. It's getting dark. So he took me back. And on the way back, he was actually mentioned that he was in 12-step fellowship and he was an addict as well.
Wow, okay.
Which was mad. Now when I think back, it was like, I think there's been seeds that had been planted along the years for that. But anyway, yeah, so I had to rattle off my methadone basically, come back. Then I went on a blocker and then I found 12-step fellowship. But the physical side, methadone's pretty horrific. I'm not going to lie. It is horrific to come off, but it's doable. I've done a lot of methadone rattles over the years, prisons and losing my script.
Because some people, right, you'll be able to school me on this. They see themselves as in recovery, but they still take methadone. Is that true?
Yeah.
Right.
I look.
What's your
my view on it is,
yeah,
my addiction was going to kill me if I carried on using, doing what I was doing. I'm going to die. I think that if someone is taking methadone and they are living a normal life, I don't see an issue with it.
Sure.
They're not going to die like that. They are going to die, if they're out there in all that madness. If you can just take it and live a normal life, I think, yeah, you're not out there using illegal drugs.
Sure.
I personally wouldn't want to be tied to it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look, if it gives you a stepping stone to get away from the illegal drugs and the fucking chaos and the madness and the whatever else comes with it,
yeah,
use it as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready, you can come off. But yeah, I wouldn't say that you're not in recovery because you're taking methadone. I think that's unfair for people. It's life or death.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So methadone would be kind of like a bridge, if you like. And for some people, like you say, it's more of a permanent scenario, not for you. Where does Subutex come into the treatment plan?
So Subutex is a blocker.
Okay.
So you can come down off your methadone, get off of that, and go on to a blocker.
Got you.
Which just blocks all opiates.
One of my best friends in recovery, she was coming off heroin I was in rehab 2015. She kept sneezing all the time.
Oh,
sneezing. So I was like, what's going on with you? She said, it's a Subutex. I don't know why it made her sneeze, but she could not stop sneezing.
No, when you're withdrawing, you sneeze a lot.
Wow,
because
so weird,
I think somewhere I read, because I looked it up, why I kept sneezing all the time.
Okay.
Apparently when you sneeze, it releases like an eighth of an orgasm or something, a very small amount. No, seriously.
Sure, I better sneeze 8 times then.
Yeah, but seriously, because it releases, when you're withdrawing, your body wants to naturally try and get rid of that pain.
Wow.
So it releases dopamine, is it?
Gotcha.
Tries to release it. So that's why you're sneezing. It's trying to stop you from hurting your body.
That's so interesting.
I know.
Guys, if you know definitively, if we've gone off piste, I mean, I do believe Charlotte, let us know in the comments what's going on there. That would be really, really great. Okay, so it sounds like the physical side of thing, you're on methadone, you went to Ireland and you sort of didn't have enough. You started to withdraw, and then it sounds like you sort of just went through those withdrawals, had this sort of like God shot moment, if you want to call it that, meeting this guy with the 12-step fellowship. You mentioned seeds planted. I know part of your story that you've been in and out of a few meetings along the way. Is that what saved your life then, would you say? Would you say it's the 12 steps and the fellowship or something else? Wow, okay.
I think, obviously, it had to come from me, though. It wouldn't have worked if I wasn't ready. I definitely was beaten into a state of reasonableness. I had a gift of desperation. But I was truly done. But the 12 steps has saved my life, restored me to sanity, and it's gave me the tools to deal with life today. And it's I just never thought that it could be like this. I am at peace. I am content today. I'm a mother to my children today.
I always say that recovery is more powerful than addiction, and we know how powerful addiction is, and just how pernicious and destructive it is. I think recovery is at least twice as powerful because look at how, we're recording this just under a year actually of you being clean and sober, but when it comes out, it will be a year. I hope I don't feel like I've put a jinx on it. I'm very confident you're going to make it. I'll be checking on you.
Yeah.
But wow, the transformation in just a year is insane.
I know.
I mean, what do your kids think? They must be going, who's this?
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really sometimes like it's pinch me moment. Like literally, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Like really bad. To this, like clean and sober. All the stuff I do online.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. It is. That's why I always say never give up hope, because no one's ever too far gone, ever too broken. You can come back from it all. And I'm not sitting here. I've been there. So you can come back from it.
Someone I know through recovery for a long time, she's in active addiction at the moment. I think it's crack. I don't know. I call it the crack walk. You might know what I'm talking about.
The fast one.
The
like
real
you're hunched over.
Yes.
My kids still moan at me now a little bit, actually, because I've walked like that for so long. It is a walk, isn't it? You get a walk on. And they go, why are you walking so fast? Obviously, I don't walk like that fast now. Yeah. But I think I've just walked at such a fast pace all my life.
Yeah.
Like, can you slow down a little bit? But yes, so there is a walk, definitely.
What's the walk about? You just desperately going to get
You're going to score.
That's what I thought it was.
So you're so like,
you're on one.
I need to get there.
The reason I bring it up, I've got a friend and, you know, we go back years and she doesn't really want to stop and chat anymore. Just on that walk. And I see her in certain parts of North London. I looked her in the eye last year. She'd just come out of the Royal Free Hospital and she was covered in cuts. And she still, you know, she'll scream my name down the road at times. And people sort of look round and go, how do you know each other? And she'll come up and give me a hug sometimes. And I think she's living on the streets now. But last time I saw her, she was in that walk. She did acknowledge me, but I looked in her eyes and I thought, she's gone. I don't know if she'll ever make it back. You're giving me hope, though, that she could make it back.
I was gone like that.
Really?
I was completely...
That actually makes me a little bit emotional to...
Talking to myself.
Hear you say that, you know? Yeah.
Talking to myself. Completely insane, withdrawn. I was a shell of a person. So there is hope.
Right. God. That's amazing. I'm so glad you made it back. I think I am a little bit emotional today because I know some people that have been where you are and yeah, just sort of really, really hoping that they make it. And I'm seeing you now today, sort of how well you look and how amazing you're doing. I'm just praying so hard that can be them too.
Yeah, me too.
Unbelievable. So for you then, maintenance looks like abstinence from everything? Alcohol as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't drink. I mean, I'm an addict. So for me, I've always made bad decisions on it anyway.
Yeah.
And I have the delusional head, you know, when I first come in, because I think it was my mum that said it. Do you want to drink, Charlotte? I said, no, I don't, Mum. I can't drink. And she went, yeah, drink wasn't your problem. And then in my head tried to tell me that it wasn't, but it was. Yeah. When I look back, there's always been drink involved. You know, down at the off licence at 6 o'clock in the morning buying K cider, walking around the town. I always had a can of cider in my hand everywhere I went.
By any other metric, you know, that's kind of alcoholic behaviour, isn't it? 6 in the morning, K cider.
Yeah.
But I can imagine with your history, with your drug history, you know, with everything else that's going on the snowball, you can kind of go, well, that K cider at 6 in the morning, that's child's play compared to everything else.
I think that's where it comes in, the head trying to say it was a problem. It was.
Yeah.
Because that's not normal behaviour. I don't know. I just think that crack and heroin just was my drug of choice.
Yeah.
But I'm an addict in all forms.
Yeah.
With everything.
So for you, it sounds like sort of regular step work, lots of meetings, staying absent of everything. Obviously, you give a huge amount back.
Yeah.
You know, go to Charlotte's TikTok now, Instagram now, everywhere else. Show notes, go follow Charlotte. There's loads of stuff there. That sounds like that's part of your recovery as well. Sort of like step 12 in a way, your TikTok, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive. I spoke to my sponsor about it. And she just said, look, Charlotte, I think it's amazing. You know, and you're not on there, you know, in a little silly dress. You're giving a message.
Yeah.
And it's the 12th suggestion. And if you choose to do it that way, that's up to you. You know what I mean? And I think it's amazing. And it's special as well because my daughters was like, Mum, why don't you share your journey? You know, because I didn't really know how to use social media, to be honest, because I didn't really have a phone in addiction.
How old are your kids now, sorry?
My eldest is nearly 18. My middle one's 16. And my youngest is 10. My daughters are my elder ones. My son's 10.
Well, this is the power of recovery because you don't look old enough to have any of those.
Yeah.
So there you go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? And recently you got a Sheriff Award. Tell us what that's about, because I think that's a real testament to how far you've come.
Yeah, so I was nominated by probation for a High Sheriff Award, which It's an award basically because I've got 77 convictions all in all. The first one was in 2002 when I was 12. So I've been with probation or the justice system right up until recently. And they just said, you've turned your life around, you're an inspiration. And they nominated me for it and I won. So I went there with my mum and dad and read out this speech. My probation officer got a bit emotional, bless her. And I think it was just when they read it out as well, my mum and dad cried. It's quite emotional when someone reads it out, like your life. And obviously they've got in there as well what happened as a kid and all the stuff that's happened through my addiction. They blatantly said, like, Charlotte's been exploited a lot over the years. And they didn't think I was going to make it. A couple of months before I got clean, just before Christmas.
Yeah.
They said to me, Charlotte, we really thought we was going to get a phone call to say that you're not here anymore.
Yeah. Well, you're hugely inspirational. I mean, if there is a bloody U-turn, you talk about a U-turn.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. We need you healthy, in recovery, to save lives.
Yes.
I've not had anybody on this early for a few episodes, but I can really feel how strong your recovery is. I want you to know that you're always part of the School of Rock Bottom community forever.
Thank you.
And just on a personal level, know that you've got a friend in recovery. And if at any time you ever need a chat, you can always message me.
Thank you so much.
I'm absolutely going to be cheering you on the sidelines every single birthday.
Yes.
You've inspired me hugely today.
Thank you
Thank you for coming on.
And thank you for asking me.
Before I wrap up, slightly cliched, but my friend who's out there in active crack addiction, maybe ending up in street corners like you were behind Argos's or whatever other shops, maybe with a needle out of their groin. If they're still listening to this podcast, which I hope they are, what could you say to them? You've said it already, but is there one soundbite you could leave us with?
Just never give up hope.
Yeah.
That your life can't change. Makes me emotional. I don't know what happened there.
Talking to yourself, aren't you, I guess, as well?
Yeah, just don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
Because there is a beautiful life out there.
Absolutely. All those things, that some people, they see on paper about people and things that have happened to them. People have all these judgments about who these people are and what they're all about. Let me tell you, the last 2 hours I've been hanging out with Charlotte, one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Such a good soul. And wow, isn't recovery powerful? Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
As are you.
Thank you
so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
I wish you a drama-free train back to Essex.
Yeah, got lost on the way here.
And I'll get you a tissue shortly.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Guys, we've ended on a bit of an emotional but a very hopeful note. Huge thanks for watching or listening. As I've said, go to the show notes, follow Charlotte now, and any other links that she wants will be there as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe, leave Charlotte and I a comment. We'll read all the comments. Apparently Apple, it's good if you write a review. That helps the algorithm. Spotify, hit follow, give us 5 stars. If you want to give 4, don't bother, but 5 would be great. And as I've always promised, and I've not let you down yet, I will be back in 2 weeks' time with a brand new episode. Until then, look after yourself, and thanks for watching or listening.